I've been waiting my whole life for this. Orthopedic surgeon and husband of the View host, Sonny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run. These women tell me why her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud. And I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the?
Sonny Hostin is facing serious trouble that looks a lot like the edge of bankruptcy. But that's only the beginning, because things take an even stranger turn. Her husband has been arrested in connection with a massive $450 million RICO fraud case. For any couple, this kind of blow is devastating, but for them, the spiral is especially brutal. The scandal is only beginning to unfold, and the twists ahead promise to shock everyone watching. Stay tuned. The way this story unravels may be far more astonishing than anyone expects.
Married, Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? And then she also, on Trump's win, calling the loss because of uneducated white women that Trump won.
We have to know that this is accused.
All accused. Yeah, all accused, but he's in the RICO. This is a big RICO case that her husband's in.
Sonny probably thought her sharp takes on political debates during The View would be what stirred the most controversy. Instead, her own life has become the talking point, and commentators are now using her personal drama as ammunition in their arguments. It's a harsh spotlight to be under. But the headlines aren't just about Sonny's on-air opinions this time. Her husband, an orthopedic surgeon, is now at the center of attention too. His professional dealings could drag them both into serious financial and legal jeopardy, turning what was once political commentary into a personal crisis.
Orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin is accused in December. Lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Twites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread insurance fraud.
Picture this. You wake up after a grueling work week only to be hit with news of a $450 million racketeering case. That's the reality Sonny Hostin is facing. After years of championing ethics and accountability on national television, she's now watching her moral high ground crumble as her husband stands accused of masterminding one of the largest insurance fraud schemes in the country. Talk about irony.
The View co-host Sonny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgery.
And here's where the tea really spills. Allegedly, Dr. Hostin wasn't just practicing orthopedics, he was cashing in. Reports claim he accepted bribes to perform unnecessary surgeries, shoulders, knees, you name it, stacking up charges that insurance companies were left footing the bill for. The catch? Many of those procedures may never have even happened. In other words, he wasn't fixing your knee, darling. He was fixing his bank account.
That always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickback.
You know what they say? Those pointing the loudest fingers usually have the most to hide. And this isn't just any scandal. We're talking about what's being described as the largest RICO case in New York history. Yes, even eclipsing the mafia takedowns of decades past. Dr. Hostin is accused of masterminding a massive scheme, defrauding insurance companies, targeting Uber, Lyft, and taxi drivers, and pocketing millions through kickbacks, fake treatments, and unnecessary procedures. Meanwhile, Sunny is clinging to her polished primetime image, but instead of speaking out, she's staying quiet, radio silence, hoping the headlines might somehow pass her by. But let's be real. How do you stay silent when your husband is tied to one of the biggest racketeering prosecutions the state has ever seen?
That's why we need to seriously have a long, lengthy conversation about healthcare in the United States of America. This is basically it. So Sunny Hostin's husband was basically charged with insurance fraud. What he was doing was doing like fraudulent surgeries and then overcharging the insurance companies for him. This is what this is. So now, of course, he's now being named along with about 200 other individuals in a federal RICO charge case.
Forget The Godfather? What if the mob bosses wore white coats? This isn't Grey's Anatomy. This is a $450 million RICO case. Sure, insurance companies aren't saints. Everyone knows that. Denials, refusals, endless red tape. But in this story, they're not the villains. They're the victims. And that's the absurd twist. Enter the irony. Sunny Hostin, a TV voice for justice and accountability, suddenly finds her own household in the spotlight. Her husband, now one of 180 defendants accused of siphoning off millions, money that should have paid for real care, real patients, real needs. The advocate has become the story.
Life for this orthopedic surgeon and husband of the View host, Sunny Hostin, has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud. And I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury? Roll it, Nick.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband.
Meanwhile, Sunny keeps her smile polished, steering clear of the hard questions. But this isn't a drizzle you can dodge. It's a full-on monsoon. While she preaches ethics over coffee on The View, her husband is accused of raking in millions from shady medical schemes. And it's not just him. Doctors, clinics, maybe even whole hospitals are caught in the dragnet. It's as if the mob decided bank heists were old news and moved into healthcare instead. One of the biggest plaintiffs, American Transit Insurance, claims they were forced to shell out millions for surgeries that were either unnecessary or never even happened. Now they want every cent back. And with every headline, the muck only gets deeper.
We learned that Sunny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, was named in a lawsuit filed by American Transit Insurance Company. He's one of 200 people named in this lawsuit, and they are accusing him of filing fraudulent insurance claims and also getting kickbacks from them. And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history, and they're seeking $450 million. And Sunny and her husband, they are fighting back. They've hired legal eagle Mark Garagos to help them fight this case, and they're claiming that this is completely based.
Sunny's husband's lawyer isn't folding. Instead, he's spinning the narrative, calling this whole trial nothing more than a desperate insurance company's attempt to stay afloat. The defense is classic, but we're not the liars, maybe you are. Textbook misdirection. But here's the twist. Sunny, who's built her brand on calling people out, has gone silent. This is the same woman who's grilled politicians, celebrities, even faceless trolls on live TV. Yet when the scandal lands in her own living room, her voice disappears. Is she stepping back to protect herself or just praying it blows over? Either way, her silence has left The View with one less perspective.
Anna went in a different direction. But I love the fact that, you know, Manny is younger and he's
How much younger is he?
Just a little bit.
He's like 1 year, isn't he? Like a month or a year or 10 years or 5 years?
It's more than a year.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not about me. I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He
Exactly.
throws the garbage out.
Right.
He does the heavy stuff.
This isn't just a scandal. It's a billion-dollar catastrophe, one of the largest medical fraud investigations in U.S. history. And Dr. Hostin isn't standing alone in the crosshairs. The allegations pull in doctors, hospitals, insurance firms, and even unsuspecting patients who were dragged into the scheme. If the charges hold up, this isn't about one man's greed. It's a case study in the collapse of a healthcare system where profit outweighs people. And then there's Sunny. For years, she's spoken as a champion of justice, of ethics, of accountability. But now, with her own household tied to this empire of fraud, she may have to ask herself a brutal question. What side of the system has she really been standing on? Because in this storm, no one looks clean.
A clean Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but if she didn't really know what was going on, right, which is what she's probably going to say later, oh, I had no idea what my husband and his associates were doing. We'll wait and see what that is. But I think it's pretty freaking ironic.
Yeah. I have a totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips.
It's just like twice a day.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent. America's racist. America's bad. Okay. I challenge you, Sonny. And this is Constance Kissin actually was saying something about this. Find me a country that's not racist.
Maybe what Sunny really needs right now is a new lens. Hi, everyone. My marriage is in shambles and the world is on fire. That's the subtext, whether she says it or not. A legal crisis of this scale is impossible to ignore, no matter how much her loyal viewers might wish to. The longer she stays silent, the more The View starts to feel like an escape fantasy instead of a reflection of reality. Sure, Dr. Hostin hasn't been convicted yet, but who would have guessed that racketeering, not politics, not celebrity drama, would end up being the most explosive battle in their household? Sunny's future now hangs in the balance. It's not just about losing her credibility, her seat at the table, or her reputation. It's about losing her footing entirely. And her husband? He may not be scrubbing into surgeries anytime soon. Instead, he could be scribbling memoir notes from a courtroom bench. Like a car crash, this scandal is impossible to look away from. Chaotic, dramatic, and painfully destructive.